So for the independent question, the independent writing task, you will have 30 minutes to plan, write, and revise your essay. And typically an effective essay will contain a minimum of 300 words. So for the independent task, you're asked to agree or disagree with something or to state your opinion. In this case, do you agree or disagree with the following statement? Always telling the truth is the most important consideration in any relationship. Use specific reasons and examples to support your answer. So we're going to look at a couple of responses. And this one is a level 5 response. And again, you'll notice that it's not perfect, but it's a pretty good example. So let's read this one. The traditional virtue of telling the truth in all situations is increasingly doubted by many in today's world. Many believe that telling the truth is not always the best policy when dealing with people. Moreover, the line of a truth is becoming more and more vague. This essay will explore the importance of telling the truth in relationships between people. We all understand that often the truth is offending and may not be a very nice thing to both hear or say. Lies or white lies often have their advantages. The manipulation of white lies is the most obvious in the business world. How many times have we heard that some product is the finest or the cheapest? How many times have we heard that products have such and such magical functions? Advertising is about persuasion, and many would agree that if a company is to tell the absolute truth about its products, no one would be interested in even having a look at the products. The same logic applies to human relationships. If your friend had worn a newly purchased dress on her birthday and energetically asked you if it was a worthy buy, would you freely express your opinion that you had never seen a dress as the one she's wearing and spoil her birthday? Unarguably, hiding entirely or partially the truth in some situations can be quite handy indeed. Confrontations and disputes can seemingly be avoided. However, there is always the risk factor of the truth emerging sooner or later when telling an untruth. The basic trust in any relationship, businessman, customer, friends, parents, children, should be botched, and would have an impact on the future relationship between both parties. The story of the boy who cried wolf fully illustrates the consequences of telling untruths. No one will believe you when you're telling the truth. Your word will have no weight. In addition, another bad factor of telling untruths is that you have absolutely no control over when the truth of previous untruths will emerge. Untruths breed pain in both parties. Tears when the truth is uncovered after a period of time, fear, and the burden of sharing a secret. In the long run, it seems that hiding the truth is not beneficial to either party. Everyone hates betrayal, even if it is the trend to occasionally hide the truth in relationships. It is strongly recommended that not to follow that trend, as the risk and the consequences of the truth unfolded overwhelms the minimal advantages one can derive from not telling the truth. After all, it is understood that relationships are founded on trust, which goes hand in hand with truth. Indeed, telling the truth is most important consideration in any relationship between people always. So, you can see that there were some problems with capitalization and punctuation, and a few words are misused or not in the right form. However, the sentence structures are very sophisticated, and overall, it's very clear. Very good use of vocabulary and transition words, and the grammar is really excellent. So, and the allusion to the famous fable, the boy who cried wolf, is used as a very good example to make the point that the author is making. So using examples like that is always a good idea. It shows that you know a little bit about the culture, and it helps to clarify a point. So doing things like that is really the raters look upon that very favorably. So, are there any questions about the independent essay? Well, let's look at a level 3 response. Telling the truth is the most important consideration in any relationship between people. Once you are going to deal with this person, because you first of all must trust this person. Second, nobody likes to be treated as a fool, and the truth makes a solid relation. I'm not even sure what the person meant by that. First of all, the trust is going to keep a relation going. Confidence and something really must hurt an old. If you lose someone that you never be able to that you won't quickly be seen as a fool. It's nice to be as I believe. On your view on won't be possible in life. Those sentences were very awkward, and even though I know what was not very well confusing. The truth means that you can't lie. If you can't, you won't be able to betray. Once you won't be able to hide anything. If you can't betray, you're going to have a perfect relationship. The truth is really the basis of a relationship. As a conclusion, I think that the truth is really important in a relationship because it gives you some safety in this relationship, the sensation that you won't be betrayed. So you can see that even though they answered the question, and they did make some good points, which is why they got at least a level 3. But there are a number of grammatical errors and words that are either used incorrectly or the wrong form, spelled to the point where I wasn't really sure what they were trying to say. So the general idea is quite, it's just not expressed very well, and since it is.
Some students have I think they have asked 2 questions, and I think that's a very good questions. The first question is that can you just explain a little more, about, let's see, the nature of the integrated questions. Let's see what's the relationship between the reading passage and the listening materials. Basically, so in the integrated questions, what TOEFL test that they want the students to do. Do they just want students to extract the points, from the from the both reading and listening passage and list them, or is any something else that maybe they want students to give their own opinions?
Right. They're not asking for your opinion in this particular task. They just want they want to know that you understand the reading and the listening passage, and that you can take points from each one and integrate. That's why it's called integrated, because you're combining the 2 passages. And in most cases, they will give you a problem, or what's the word? A situation. I'm sorry. They'll set up a situation, and like they did in the reading passage, they're talking about the positive aspects of working in groups. And so they point out several positive factors for working in groups. Having team members, there's a wider range of knowledge and expertise, and so they're in each one of these paragraphs, they're pointing out another positive aspect. So those would be the things that you would want to take notes on. Like in the first paragraph, they're saying, first of all, and those are good keywords to look at when you're reading the reading passage. First of all, a group has a wider range of knowledge, expertise, and skills than any single individual is likely to possess, or than any one person has on their own. The group has a better chance because they all have their own ideas, and they can put them together to create good ideas. So that would be the first thing that you would want to put in your notes. The reading passage is pointing out, let's see, what are some other ones? Let's see. Okay, so those would be some of the positive things that they're pointing out in the reading passage, but then in the lecture, that was in my notes, I'm sorry. He's pointing out, the lecturer is pointing out that, these aren't necessarily positive ideas, that there are many problems with the group as well. And then I'm trying to find the lecture notes so that I can be more specific. Let's see. So you want to take notes from the lecture about things that don't work. And some of the things that they pointed out were let's see. Oh, the people who don't do much work. And there are a few hard workers, and then there are people who don't work very hard, but the whole group gets credit. So even these people who are getting a so-called free ride, they're getting credit for being part of the group, even though they didn't do any work. And the idea that certain people can influence the group, and it could have a negative influence as well as a positive influence. So these are all, you want to find the point that kind of create an argument, that the good things versus the bad things or the negative things. And those are the things that you want to put together, you want to integrate in your response. Does that answer your question?
It's one other question. How many words that you would suggest the students write in the integrated question?
For the integrated question, let's see, it was around 225. Yeah, between 150 and 225. They don't have any set number, but they think a good response is between 150 and 225.